Reflex sympathetic dystrophy is a debilitating condition. This week we sat down with Power of Pain Foundation President Barbie Engel and continued our chat about the Power of Pain Foundation and reflex sympathetic dystrophy, a disease that took over her life. So not only is Barbie the Power of Pain president, she also is a chronic pain patient herself. Now Barbie, tell us a little bit about your RSD and how other suffering might be able to help manage it.
Sure. I developed RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy, in 2002 after a very minor car accident. And doctors could not figure out what was wrong. I started with the traditional physical therapy. I actually did almost 3 years of physical therapy, and it was the wrong type of physical therapy. So if a doctor said, do this and you'll be better, I would do it. I rushed into a surgery to have my rib removed. I had tumors grow in my mouth from a complication of a medication, and had to have oral surgery, a shoulder surgery. My rib surgery went bad, so I had to have a lung surgery because it was puncturing my lung. And when I finally started researching and getting involved in my healthcare and realizing that I needed to be my own best advocate was when I started getting help. And prior to being diagnosed, I saw 42 doctors, different specialties. 42 to get diagnosed. I knew something was wrong. I knew I wouldn't give up my former life. And this was something that I had overcome so many things in life, and I couldn't overcome this. And I knew there had to be an answer. I knew there had to be a way.
Wow, that's inspiring.
Thank you. Never give up. Never give up.
What is something you loved doing before you had chronic pain?
Well, before I had chronic pain, I was a cheerleading coach at Washington State University. Cheerleading. And I started cheerleading, dance, gymnastics when I was 4 years old. And by the time I was 12, I told my dad, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm going to be a cheerleader. And he said, honey, you can't do that. You need to find a real job. You need to...
Dad talking some sense into you.
Trying to. And I said, no, Dad, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I'm going to be a cheerleader. And all the way, 4 years old, all the way until I was 29 and developed RSD, I did cheerleading. And I was a cheerleader physically, and then I started coaching, and I still choreographed the routines. I was actually nationally known as a choreographer, and this 8 seconds took all that away.
Wow.
And I lost myself. I mean, imagine your whole life, you are one thing, and then it's gone. What do you do? So I had to dig down deep. And what I did is I took the lessons I learned through cheerleading with responsibility, time management, never, ever, ever give up until the game is over. And when you're dealing with your health, your game is not over until you die. So you have to maintain your health. You have to do what it takes to be your own best advocate, to be the chief of staff of your medical team, or be the cheerleader of hope. So I changed from being a physical cheerleader into being a mental cheerleader. And so although I can't cheer anymore physically and do backflips and get thrown 30 feet in the air, I can still cheer people on.
Well, why do you love doing that?
I love doing it because the interaction with other people, that's the interaction as a cheerleader on the field when you're cheering is getting people to rise up and do something and to better themselves, better their team. And I just converted that right over into healthcare. Everybody that's going through a chronic pain disease should share their story. One, it helps take the stigma away from what we're dealing with. And two, it inspires other patients to hear that, wow, this person is dealing with the similar things that I am and challenges that I am, yet they're still able to have these life goals, life accomplishments. And just having that makes a difference in other people's lives, and that's why I love it.
We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Barbie today and the Power of Pain Foundation. Be sure to subscribe to their channel by clicking the link below. And be sure to tune in next week as we conclude our 3-part series with Barbie and the Power of Pain Foundation, where she chats a little bit about treatment options and how the Power of Pain Foundation saved her life. And that's another dose of pain news brought to you by PainDoctor.com. Subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Thanks, and have a pain-free tomorrow.